Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's VW Supersport Championship for round 2 at the Dragon Trail Seaside. Before we head over to see the action, we're going to take a quick look at the current championship standings after round 1 of 9, and Demon R leading the way on 20 points, Steve F1 right behind him, SGP in 3rd with Tyler in 4th, and then Fluffy Planet 5th with Dave the Harp in 6th. Groover, he's 7th place with Rich Blues in 8th. Twilight is in 9th, or is it Philip Schofield? I'm not sure. 10th is Formula Gary, and then we've got Bunsell, SRI, Lewis, Conreese and Jason. For round 2 onwards, the grid is going to be set by reverse championship standings order, which means the grid for today's race is going to look like this. SRI is going to be on pole position with Bunsell joining him on the front row. On row 2 we've got Formula Gary and Twilight, and on row 3 we have Rich Blues and Groover. Dave the Harp will start alongside Fluffy Planet on row 4, while on row 5 we'll have Tyler and SGP. On row 6 we have Steve F1 and Demon R. And then on row 7 we have Lewis, who is on 0 points, that's why he's starting at the back, starting alongside Jason, who missed round 1. We do have 2 drivers away, but it's time to get over to the action, so let's join the commentary team. Here we go then for round 2 from the Dragon Trail Seaside, and joining me on commentary today is SGP.
Boogity boogity boogity, we've got Bunsell on the front row.
Here we go then, SRI sitting on pole position, Bunsell joining him on the front row of the grid as we wait for the lights to go out and the race to begin, and away they go, and it looks like a good start from SRI, and Bunsell's had a shocker.
He has. Gary's already jumped him off the line. Groover also with a good start in the middle of the pack there.
Yeah, Rich Blues closing in on Bunsell as well as we head down towards what I call turn 1, although it is technically turn 2, as SRI is trying to fight off Gary, but Gary's got through into the lead.
Looks like we've got everybody through that first section of corners there, nice and clean so far. Bunsell though, right up next to SRI. Is he going to go for a move up the inside? A bit of a tricky one this to do, because it's flat out. But under braking, is he going to go in for it? He's close enough to get some
Bunsell! Oh! He's battered the wall as Bunsell, and that's given Tyler the opportunity to have a run alongside Groover. Dave the Harp right behind them as well. That's disastrous for Bunsell. So Tyler, probably the first of the quicker drivers, making his way through the pack at the moment. And SGP, or Steve as we're going to call you, this is the first race with a reverse championship grid order for this championship, as SRI closing in on the back of Formula Gary. He's going to try and take the lead. He's going to try. Will he succeed?
He might do. Gary, a bit of a curve there, might unsettle the car. SRI gets a good exit. Gary covering up a little bit alongside, side by side. No, and took him behind. Wise thing to do early on in the race.
Yes.
Through the bus stop chicane.
I was going to say, especially into the bus stop chicane, we can so easily see cars into the barrier here. It's almost flat out all the way through there. It's a brilliant set of corners, and Gary and SRI managed to make their way through. And in the background, we've got Tyler trying to make a move on Rich Blues, and he's going to have it. You know, SRI though still pressuring Formula Gary.
Yeah, Tyler though, he's in a really good position. He started about 4th from the back, and or maybe 5th from the back. Well, yeah, brilliant start. SRI though, he's got a run on Gary. Can he get him done into the braking zone? Well, we're going to call it turn 1. We're not going to count this kink as a turn.
Oh, 5 wide. Looks like Demon R giving Lewis a bit of a bump up there, and now he's giving Dave the Harp a bit of a bumping across the grass, and Dave the Harp's deep into the corner. Carnage at turn 1 there, and Dave the Harp, bloody hell, he won't be happy about that one. No, he definitely won't be, but I've got to say, I don't think that was his fault there, to be honest. 5 wide is never going to work. I'd blame Demon R on that one. Maybe the stewards will have to look at that.
I'd blame SGP, and Tyler will probably blame all 3 of them.
Yep, definitely. Although Tyler is at the front of the pack, he's in this fight, so he'll probably blame no one.
Well, Yeah, but he wants the guys that beat him in the last race to finish behind him in this one.
True, good point. And Tyler has closed in on the leading duo. So, and as you said, Tyler has got a brilliant opportunity here, because as we see him making the move on SRI, the next fastest driver or sort of title contender is SGP, who's currently sitting in 7th place. So yeah, it's not going to be easy for the guys at the back to make their way through. Tyler though has dispatched SRI. Oh, Gary got a little bit wide there as it's getting busy around SGP, and it looks like Bunsel's into the barrier again.
Yeah, and SGP's got a nice jump on all three of them there, taking 3 cars out the exit of the chicane. I think one slowed down by a bit of touch of the wall, slowed down the others, and SGP pounced up into 4th, 5th, 4th place. Yeah, Fluffy though.
Fluffy is in 5th, and he's got Lewis right behind him, and then Groover. This is frantic stuff at the opening stages of this race. Fluffy's got a decent run on SGP. But looking at Formula Gary sitting in 2nd place, so sitting in 2nd place, Tyler leading. Tyler, if he had a good opportunity, he's just made it even better.
Yeah, race 1, race winner was Demon Art, and he's not in the top 8. Where is he? I mean, Steve F1 not in the top 8 either. So they've had a difficult opening couple of laps there.
But for SRI, he's definitely in a fight with Gary, that's for sure. And to be honest, any one of these front 3 at the moment. Oh, Steve F1, there he is, and there he's going backwards into the gravel, into the barrier. Is that his race over?
I don't know, but we got the footage of that one, that's for sure.
That we did. Seriously, we got the footage. Ooh,
right, well,
I thought Gary was going right wide there.
Yeah, it looked like he got a bit of understeer on the exit there, and it's just opened up the gap to SRI, and SRI now just needs to try and close that gap up and keep with him. SGP not quite there with the leading 3 at the moment, but this is great for Tyler. I mean, he started alongside SGP towards the back of the grid. That's how good a start Tyler's had. Close to the walls. SRI's clear through.
Gary clipped one in the middle. It compromised him a little bit, and that's allowing SRI to close in on him now. SGP is getting a little bit closer to SRI. So yeah, I mean, when do we think people are going to be pitting here, Steve? Because
it's going to be about 10 minutes at the earliest, I'd have thought, which is going to be another 5 minutes.
SRI's got to run on Gary here. He's tucking under his rear wing, getting the slipstream, pulls out. He's going to have the racing line, but Gary's going to have the inside of the corner. But if SRI can hang it all the way around the outside, he'll have the inside for the next one. That's a lovely move from Overtake. That's a lovely move from SRI.
I've just noticed 2 arrows coming out the pits on the radar. As soon as I know who they are, I will point it out to you.
Okay, SGP having a look up the inside of Gary. So Gizmo's getting in on the commentary as well.
Not Bin Day.
It was when this race was held. So yeah, SGP. Who's he? Yeah, Gary was fighting back past SGP, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. And I've just had a report come back from the pit lane. It was Demon R and Steve F1 that was in the pit lane for early pit stops. Why would that be?
Well, maybe if they were struggling to get through the pack, or they were making mistakes or whatever. When we saw Steve F1 having a big off, maybe they've decided, you know what, let's get away from the pack a little bit for a while. Brand new set of tyres, let's just have some clear track, because other people are going to be pitting 4, 5, 6 minutes. So yeah. Ooh, Lewis into the barriers. The bus stop has claimed its first OAP.
Yeah, and that's going to close everyone right up to the back of him on that one, and it looks about 4 wide in the background, but we've got SGP right up the gearbox of SRI, not quite close enough to be sniffing his exhaust just yet, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he can just about smell it though.
Yeah, he is gaining on SRI. I reckon he's got an opportunity here. We've got somebody else into the pit lane as well, by the looks of it. So yeah, side by side, these two are going to go. SRI is all. Oh no, SRI! He goes defensive. Oh, sneaky move there.
Yeah, and I think what's on SGP's mind here is Tyler. He doesn't want Tyler to get too far away, because that's going to, if SGP wants to have a chance of winning this race, he needs to catch up with Tyler.
Yeah. Definitely, because Tyler's got enough of a gap at the moment. Ooh, SRI's really pushing. Yeah, Tyler's got enough of a gap at the moment that if he does suffer a little bit with tyre wear, he'll be okay, as long as he doesn't lose, what, 2-3 seconds. So he's okay a little bit, and he might feel that he's got the pace over SRI. So if SRI can hold up SGP, that's great for Tyler. Let's see, having a look down the timetable on the left-hand side, Formula Gary still sitting in 4th place. He's coming under a bit of pressure though from Fluffy Planet, who's in 5th. Groover not too far away in 6th, with Jason 7th and Lewis in 8th, recovering after hitting the barrier. But we do still have, actually, you know what, I think Tyler's had a mistake somewhere, because that gap has just come down massively.
It has. The gap has reduced dramatically. Grab. But Steve,
is that your
Steve
rapping?
F1, it is. It's my rapping. SGP gone up the inside of SRI, not where SRI wants him, but nothing he can do about it. Can he get the switch back though? SRI, oh no, SGP parks it on the apex, no way through on the inside there. Good attack and defence there from SGP. I've just seen though, Steve F1 and Demon Art, 6th and 7th, they're making their way through the pack now on their fresh tyres, as we've got Fluffy slipstreaming behind Gary. That's Fluffy Gary then.
Yep, side by side there, gonna go. Oh, Fluffy's really trying to have a look at the inside, trying to force the issue, but Gary is having absolutely none of it, and I don't blame him. Gary's having a stonking race so far. SGP is already on the back of Tyler. I think Tyler's tyres they've already gone, you know.
Yeah, they might have done it. I mean, he did well getting through the pack early on, but how much did that hurt his tyres by pushing hard early? If SGP took his time getting through the pack, he might have a slightly better tyre wear. And where will that gain him the advantage the most around this track?
I thought he was going to tell me.
Well, I would probably say the bus stop chicane, because...
Ooh, SGP was having a look at Tyler, but SRI's got wide. He's safety though. SGP, he's got the speed on the downhill section. Well, I was going to say, if your tyres are going, the first place it's going to hurt you is the fast left, right, left over the hill. Because if your tyres are going, you lose speed having to lift off lots.
The reason why I said the bus stop chicane is because that's where it can play on a driver's mind if you know your tyres are going. So you end up lifting probably more than what you need to make sure you don't hit the wall. That's where it can affect the drivers more mentally rather than actually with the tyres themselves. So
Fluffy having a look at Gary into the final corner, and he's going deep on the brakes. Gary giving him the room, and side by side they go. You mentioned about Steve F1 and Demon R. They pitted, and since they've pitted, they've ended up in a better position than what they did before they pitted, and that's why they've done it. So now they've got an opportunity. They're currently sitting in 5th and 6th, and Steve F1 is already applying the pressure on Formula Gary, because they've got the benefit of fresher tyres at this moment.
Yeah, they have, and this is going to come into play when Tyler...
Demon R going for a switchback on Steve F1, sneaky. Steve F1 was trying to attack Gary, it didn't work, and Demon R pounced, and now Demon R trying to look up the insiders in the background, going 2x2 as well. So Demon R all over the back of Formula Gary. Is that Jason trying to have a look up the inside as well?
I think it might have been. I just saw Lewis going a little bit wide there as well. I don't know if he actually made the corner. He's not on the screen, so I think he struggled to get out of that corner there.
Yeah, this is where Gary may struggle. This left, yeah, he's run wide, look, and that's going to compromise him in this right-hander. He's going to run wide again, which compromises him mid-corner, but I think he's just managed to cover off Demon R. Yes, he has. Demon R had to lift off a little bit. So here comes Steve F1, gets into the slipstream of Formula Gary. Can he squeeze between the two of them? Yes, he does, just. But is he going to go too deep on the brakes? No, he's got it through. He's got a lovely move there, and Demon R's managed to just about follow him through.
Great driving there by all three of them, to be fair, but who can get past these walls without mounting one?
Well, that's a good question. This is brilliant to see. The first few are through. Is everybody else through? I don't know. Yes, they all got through by the looks of it. That's brilliant stuff.
With the positioning now though, Steve F1 and Demon R, what's going to happen when the front two guys pit, or the front three guys when they pit? We're going to find out.
Yeah, Tyler's on his way into the pit lane. It's about an 8-second pit stop here, so I've got a feeling that Tyler's going to come out somewhere in or at the back of said pack. I'm not sure. He's coming out the pit lane now. He's going to come out right in the middle of it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad for Tyler. I mean, you'd hope that a lot of those cars are coming and still yet to pit, and it might work out, but if that is the case, he's going to want them in the pits as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It does look like the tyres are starting to go on a few of them cars.
It does. You got Fluffy Planet just behind Bonsall next to Groover, and Tyler trying to sort of squeeze between the two of them as Jason is trying to apply the pressure on Gary. Has a look up the inside into the hairpin. Gary squeezes him, but Gary goes wide and he goes deep. Now Dave the Harp's got a run on him behind Jason, but Dave's got nowhere to go really, so he's backing up Jason. No, he's not backing him up, he's pushing him up.
Yep, and all the time that pack's battling the cars ahead, fourth upwards, are all just starting to create a bit of a gap.
Not only that, Tyler is there, look, he's behind Bonsall. He's sort of caught up in the middle of all of this at the moment, so he kind of needs to push but also be cautious, because yes, he's got fresher tyres, but if he ruins it here, that's his benefit gone. Yeah,
it will be. That was Davey Armstrong a little bit wide, picking up a bit of dust, but it's not affected his speed. Is still getting through. Oh, too wide. Are they still going to be too wide through the next bit? No, they've got
one car's deep, heavy into the barrier. I think that may have been Groover. To be fair though, everybody else looked like they may have got through there quite nicely. Tyler managed to get ahead of Dave the Harp. Fluffy now having a look at Dave the Harp as well. Up the inside into the final corner. Can't quite get it done as somebody's gone deep into the gravel. But for Tyler, he's negotiated that quite nicely, because now he's been freed up. Now he's at the head of the pack. Now he needs to make his tyres work.
Yeah, he does. He needs to open that gap up. I mean, I'm still surprised, to be fair. Dave the Arp, surely he's pitted if he's still running at this point in the race. I mean, if he's made his tyres last this long, he's doing well.
He's not pitted yet. Look at the handle then. But what it does mean is, I don't think SGP has pitted yet. SRI, I don't think he's pitted yet.
He's not.
So we've got first and second haven't pitted. Third and fourth have pitted, and they're right on the back of SRI. And then Tyler is the next car who has pitted. So this is, I mean, Steve F1 and Demon R definitely did something different with the pit strategy. Now, this would have been, I would have said, probably an easy two-stop, maybe a one-stopper to push, but I'm wondering if these two have made their race into a three-stop, or whether they can look after their tyres enough to make this stint very long.
Yeah, if they can make this stint very long, they'll have a good race.
Oh, Ridge Blues! Where's he going, Dave the Arp? Where's he going?
Straight to the scene of the accident, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't... Oh, Steve F1!
Jeez. Oh, good job his wing mirrors aren't any bigger. He'd have lost one then.
Yeah, well, Steve F1 just lost some weight, but his car gained a bit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's making the move. Oh, that was late on the brakes, but he's got the fresher tyres. SRI coming for the switchback. He's going to force Steve F1 a bit wide there, but great battling for the three of them.
It is. Demon R's got a decent run. Demon R's got a decent run. SGP is into the pits, yeah, because these two were battling. Demon R had a better run. He's going to make it three wide, and here's SGP coming out to the pit lane. I thought that was going to be carnage. So Demon R, as he managed to squeeze through, well, he's up alongside SRI now. SRI fighting it into turn one as they still kind of three wide. This is amazing driving, but Steve F1, he needs to capitalise if he can, and he's trying.
He is trying. So, I mean, Ray's tyres now must be shot. We've got cars around him on fresher tyres, but SGP's tyres are brand spanking new. He's run a little bit wide there, but it might just be the alternative line to get a switch back on Steve F1. Is he going to try it round the outside into this difficult section up the hill? Or will he think twice about it? Steve F1 pushing him. He's not going to get it the easy position there.
No, definitely not. Orally.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing here is, I mean, okay, they're still side by side. SRI has not pitted yet, and him being in this fight is bringing four cars together. Well, SGP going for the switch back again as SRI ran a little bit wide. So Steve F1 trying to look at SRI but can't quite do it. But yeah, he's bringing four cars that have all pitted together.
And Tyler's catching them up. There he is.
SRI run a little bit wide, may have just clipped the barrier. Yes, he did. He's lost a little bit of speed there. But SGP, he may have boxed himself in. Steve F1 has got through. SGP manages to find a gap and goes for it. SRI having a look back up the inside. But I've got a feeling SRI is going to be heading towards the pit lane on this lap. Yeah,
if I was in that car, that's what I'd be planning on doing. Good first stint there, though, from SRI, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's just done, what, 16 and a half minutes? If you can do that again, he'd have a very short stint at the end on a very decent set of tyres.
Yeah, he will indeed. And when would you expect Demon R and Steve F1 to be pitting again after their early pit stop? Because this is now kind of like playing with my mind a little bit, and I can't quite figure it out.
Well, to be honest, if they pitted on with about 6 minutes gone, I think it was. If they want to keep this as a 2-stop race, they need to get past the 20-minute mark for definite. So I would say somewhere between 19 and 16 minutes left of the race. Or as SGP going side by side with Steve F1. The problem for Steve F1 though is, for every bit of fighting he's having to do here, it's an extra bit of tyre wear that he's getting rid of.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering if if SGP is aware that these are pitted earlier, and they're probably expecting the tyres on these cars to be more worn than what they are.
He's having a look. Oh yeah, I mean, it's a good point now, because SGP could easily not have realised that these two had pitted as they're going side by side towards the bus stop chicane. I don't think Steve F1 is going to be able to fight that one. Not really. His tyres are a little bit older, but SGP got a little wobbly on the curb into the barrier. Got to be careful of the wall. He manages to miss it quite nicely, but that's allowed Tyler to catch up. But yeah, it'd have been very easy for SGP and Tyler to think that these guys haven't pitted yet, because by the time Tyler pitted, Steve F1 and Demon R had only just got themselves into sort of 5th and 6th place.
Yeah, and also when you're driving and you're in first place, you see from 1st to 8th, and you've got no idea what behind 8th is actually doing, and whether they're in the pits or not. So at the point in time when Demon R and Steve F1 pitted, the leaders would not have known that.
Yeah, definitely. Now Tyler has made his way past Steve F1, and Steve F1, I mean, the best thing that Steve F1 and Demon R can do here is just try not to lose as much time as possible. So it doesn't matter if SGP and Tyler get ahead, it's about get to a certain point in the race without losing too much time.
But at the moment, it's a great recovery though from Demon R and Steve F1 after their first couple of laps not being as good as they would have wanted, and then that's obviously why they took the early pit stop.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder where they would have been probably in the pack if they'd have not done that early pit stop.
Definitely. I think I've just seen Demon R having a little bit of a wobble, and Steve F1 was getting very close to the back of Tyler. Fluffy Planet 5th, Jason 6th, and then we've got Groover and the pack. Rich Blues dips a wheel on the grass. He's going to run wide. Hopefully he recovers that as he's side by side with Bonsall. But yeah, Steve F1 is still close to the back of Tyler. So we've kind of got a breakaway, a bit like we had in the first race. 4 cars battling for the win at the moment, with Fluffy Planet all on it. Oh, Steve F1 into the barrier. Fluffy Planet is no longer alone. Oh, he's definitely not alone now. He's just at the back of Steve F1. He won't be happy, but he is up to 4.
Yeah, and if I was in Steve F1's car now, I'd be thinking, okay, this lap's been screwed up, I've just whacked the wall, why not pull in the pits and get some more fresh rubber?
Yeah, here's the pack. SRI having a look at Groover. Groover's just been passed by Dave the Arb. Steve F1 is into the pit lane, and Groover, what's Groover doing? I think Groover's trying to go for the pit lane. Holy cow!
I thought SRI was going for the pit wall after that bit of contact.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just a bit of wording on that, a bit of explanation. I mean, if you're wanting the pit lane and there's a car next to you, you can't drive in the pit lane.
Yeah, you've got to if you want the pit lane, slow down and make sure no one's there and go into the pit lane. You can't just force the other car into the pit lane, unless it's DGT Fun Races, then you do it to anyone who's near the pit entry.
Even when they don't want the pits.
Yeah. Oh, SRI all over the curb, sideways into the gravel, into the barrier. He's going to need a new pair of pants after that one. Steve F1 after pitting is at the back of this pack now. I'm not surprised that Steve F1 pitted, because as I'm sure you know, Steve, if you hit the wall at the bus stop like he did, your car stops but your tyres don't.
Yeah, they're still doing 130 mile an hour.
SGP.
We've got SG. Yeah, he was looking for a move up the inside, decided to tuck in behind. Maybe he knows his best chance of getting an overtake here is on the exit of the bus stop. If he can get a cleaner exit than Demon R on his slightly more worn tyres. But I tell you what, Demon R's opened up that gap. Maybe SGP too cautious through there.
Might have been. It's easy to get a little bit of understeer in the middle of any of those corners though. But this is kind of the crucial stage, because Demon R kind of wants to hold up SGP. Or is SGP going for the pit lane? No, he's dummying it. Demon R's going for the pit lane.
Yeah, he's gone for the pit lane, but where will that bring him out? I mean, thinking about where Steve F1 is, Demon R is going to be in and around that pack. I mean, if he gets a lucky break, he might be slightly ahead of it, but we'll see.
Yeah, Fluffy was all out of shape then with Twilight next to him. Twilight making the move, Bunsell into the pit lane. Demon R has come out of the pits and he's in at 3rd place. So, I mean...
That's clear 3rd, clear 3rd place.
Yeah, so 19 minutes to go. He may be able to get to the end. I mean, how long has he just done? Okay, he's just done 14 minutes on that set of tyres. Or Fluffy having a look at Steve F1, having a close look at his door as well, putting a little dang in it. Is that Twilight and SRI? Dang, yeah, it's like a dent, but it's not quite a dent, it's a dang. Where's Rich going?
Yeah, that's what happens when you brake with one wheel on the grass, unfortunately.
That it is. SRI trying to recover and go around the outside of a couple of cars there and managed to do it, I think. I think that was Twilight and somebody getting a little bit too, Groover, a little too physical and costing themselves a little bit of time there. But for Steve F1, he's now found himself in a fight in the middle of the pack. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to have to do another pit stop. He pitted with, what, 21 minutes to go?
21 minutes to go. I mean, he's got two choices. He either plans on pitting again and going with two short stints, or he goes to the end and hopes that everyone pits again and he's too far behind him to catch him up. But that could be tight towards the end.
Yeah, his tyres will not be feeling very nice at the end. I mean, I think 9. Oh, Fluffy, all out of shape. SRI manages to avoid him, and now they go side by side towards the final corner. Who's going to be brave on the brakes? Who's going to make a mess of it? Neither's going to make a mess of it. That's beautiful driving from the pair of them.
It is, and we've got Tyler into the pits. So where's Tyler? Tyler's not going to come out again in the middle of the pack, surely not.
Boy, it'd be cruel if he did. Fluffy's all over the back of SRI, but Twilight has got a damn good run on the back of SRI as well. I think it is, as Steve F1 is applying pressure to Gary. Yes, side by side they go. Fluffy is behind SRI. Twilight is behind Fluffy. Steve F1 still behind Gary.
And I'm trying to figure out where Tyler is, and he must be in fourth.
Yeah, he must have come out of the pits ahead of the pack of Steve F1, having a look up the inside into the hairpin. A sneaky move, but he's negotiated it beautifully. Dave the Arm's going to be loving the fact that he's got a bit of a gap to the pack, but he's going to have to be careful, because if Steve F1 starts bringing the pack with him, Dave's going to get swamped.
He is, and I'll tell you what, it was a good pit stop though from Tyler to miss out that pack. And SGP now, it looks like he's got quite a comfortable lead to Demon R.
He has, but Demon R pitted a few laps ago, didn't he?
Yeah, so Demon R now, fresher tyres, catching up. And then we've got Jason in third, with Tyler quite close behind him in fourth. So Tyler will be looking to pounce on that position shortly. Get me words out. Oh, Jason wobbly on the exit. He knows he was compromised, and Tyler's pounced on it straight away.
Yeah, I think Jason might be on slightly older tyres, so Tyler up to third place. He'll know that Demon R has pitted. SGP is into the pits now, so Tyler is going to find out where he sits in the fight for the win here. As Jason's tyres are knackered, he's going into the pit lane, so I've got a feeling he may come out right in the middle of the pack. But where's SGP? He's already exited the pit lane, but I think he's come out in second place, so he's between Demon R and Tyler.
And that's what you want. You know, when you're near the front and you pit, and you're just hoping that you've got a nice clear gap to drop into, and that's been worked out perfectly for SGP. But it's an odd time for a pit stop.
Oh, Demon R is all over the curb. He's going deep. Can he save it? He's into the barrier, and here comes SGP. It's perfect for SGP. Come round the corner and see Demon R parked up having a smoke.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to say, odd time for SGP to pit from when you think his first pit stop was. It was kind of like neither here nor there. I mean, it's a very short middle stint there.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, the two orange cars going side by side. That's Lewis and SRI, but Lewis is out wide. That's not going to end nicely. He's going to go over the curb into SRI. Not a lot he could have done there once he was in the position he was, and he's into the barrier on the other side. That's disastrous for Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where once you're on the grass and then the gravel, you return back to the track, you can quite often just be a passenger.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do from the experience I've got. You're just completely out of control. Steve F1 though, he's completely in control. Please don't hit the wall. That would have been perfect timing. But yeah, he's in complete control all over the back of Dave the Harp at the moment, and he kind of has brought Fluffy Planet along with him, but I'm guessing other cars have either just dropped off or pitted as Steve F1 makes the move on Dave the Harp. I don't think Dave thought that one too much. I'm guessing he's realised that he's not in that fight, so losing as little time as possible.
Yeah, we've got Jason on his fresh tyres, pitted last lap up along Groover. Groover's not going to want to give up the position easily. Bunsell, though, starting to slipstream and catch up quite closely to Jason. And Groover's going to make it difficult and tight. He's going to go defensive into this corner. Can Jason get around the outside, or will he go for a switchback? He looks like he's going to go for the switchback.
Interestingly, right behind them as well, SRI was 3 wide with Bunsell and Gary, but SRI was sort of defending to Gary, and Bunsell got ahead. Oh, big sideways and contact onto Bunsell. But yeah, Rich Blues managed to sneak past Gary. But yeah, I didn't exactly see what happened there. I just saw cars going sideways.
Yeah, I think Jason dipped a wheel onto the grass and made him sideways into the corner. I don't know whether he was helped onto the grass a little bit, but yeah, we saw Rich Blues do it earlier. When you brake a little on the grass, it makes the car go sideways.
Oh, yeah.
Jason managed to catch it though.
SRI going over the curb there. That's compromised him, and now they're going to go 3 wide. I think they might try 4 wide. We've got a car in the grass. That's Gary. Oh, this could get disastrous. Jason up the inside of Rich Blues. Bunsell on the outside. SRI trying to do a switch back through the middle. Knife
Still 3 wide.
Oh no, oh no.
Oh no. Hold your hat. Deep breath.
3 2x2s into the bus stop. You know what? That's bloody brilliant. That's bloody brilliant, that is, guys.
That's how it's done. Nice driving. I was actually thinking, oh no, we're going to see 3 wide into the bus stop. But no, it was
he was a bit late on the brakes there.
It looked like Dave the Art was late on the brakes. They might have caught Fluffy Gary out there, and but they're around the corner, and Fluffy takes the position.
Oh, the pack still definitely exists in the DGT League, and at the head of it is Groover, followed by Bunsell, then Jason, then Twilight, then Rich Blues, then Lewis with the Rich Blues, and then I think
Gary.
Is it Gary or is it SRI?
Yeah,
oh, Jason,
Gary.
What a move! But now he's out of shape.
Yeah, he just managed to straighten it up with keeping Bunsell behind him.
Lewis having a look up the inside into the tightest of corners, but manages to get through. He lost the place doing it, I think, but this is frantic stuff.
Yeah, he's still there behind Rich Blues, and it looks like Lewis wants to try and get past him. But I know Rich is not going to make that easy for him.
Definitely not.
Oh, Gary's overtook Lewis though. Look, Gary has just got past Lewis. I wonder if Lewis had a weaker exit out of the corner.
I think it was, when he was taking the tighter line, I think he definitely had a slower run out of the corner. Jason coming under pressure though from Bunsell, who's on the outside. Twilight behind Jason. Gary alongside Twilight, who's going to succeed. Here we go again. We're going again. 2 wide. The bus stop's coming up, guys.
Yeah, Lewis and Gary have just got past Rich Blues. Rich Blues is trying to squeeze Lewis again, and Rich Blues overtakes.
Someone's got to end up in the wall. We've cut away. I want to see it. I want to see it.
Demon R though, he's gone for the pit lane. That's why we ended up cutting away. And
you know what?
Short middle stint.
Yeah. I was looking at the track map then, and I didn't see anybody's icon spinning around. So I think they all made it through the corner. They did. They're all pretty much in the same order. But someone has just dived into the pit lane, and SRI, he's managed to get into this battle now as Jason and Groover go side by side, and they're also side by side behind them. Twilight and Rich Blues. No, it's Twilight and Gary.
It is, and I was saying it was a bit of a short stint there from Demon R, but now would be the right time to make your last pit stop. And probably capitalise on the tyres the most possible, because it's 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, but the thing is, Twilight all over the curb. SRI takes advantage of that situation. He's side by side with his nemesis, Rich Blues. Rich is going to give him no room here.
No, he's going to give him. I mean, it's 2x2x2, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, where's the arc?
This could get interesting. This could get horrible. It could also be absolutely bloody brilliant.
I don't know who to commentate on, because you're watching 6 cars all trying to overtake each other.
SRI's got the best of runs, but he's got nowhere to go other than looking at the middle. If he goes for a bit of a switch back here, he might get a move. Gary's taking the outside line, but Jason will have the better exit, I believe. Dave the Arp is now being caught up by these guys, and 2x2 they go again through the bus stop chicane. And do they get through? Oh, bit of a clipping of the barrier. This one's not going to end well. Someone's into. Oh, Gary, how the hell did you get through there?
I think that was assisted by Jason to help him straighten up, otherwise he'd have been in big trouble.
So now we're nearly 4 wide into the final corner. I will get on to Demon R in a moment. Or is Lewis getting a bit physical on Jason, and Gary, he's being a little bit physical on by SRI. It's not easy to drive in this situation though, is it?
It's not at all. We're going 3 wide, could it be 4 wide? We've got
Fluffy.
Fluffy just coming out of the pit lane. Looks like Dave the Art went for a pit stop as well. So about now would be the latest you want to be pitting. Any later, you're not be able to capitalise on it.
Yeah, Gary was all out of shape under braking then. Or Lewis, a bit of a tag on the side of someone. It wasn't Rich Blues. Rich Blues was ahead of him, but now they're going 3 wide. This could end badly. Bunsel's on the freshest of tyres with Fluffy behind him. Oh, Lewis, I thought he was going wide there. Rich Blues having a look up the inside. Does he know he's tagged the back of Lewis and into the gravel he goes and around? Is he saved it? He's just about saved it.
Just about saved it. But you know what? I think Rich might there be thinking, was that my fault? And then probably forgot that he should be giving the position back if he realised it was his.
Quite possibly. So it's still all to fight for in the pack. Fluffy and Jason side by side. I don't know if Jason has pitted recently. I don't think he has, but Fluffy has. So he's got the fresher tyres. But as we know, if you push them too much in the pack, by the time you get to the front of the pack, you haven't got any tyres left to pull away.
No, and SGP's got a really comfortable lead there to Tyler, who's in second place. Tyler's looking rather comfortable with Demon R on reasonably fresh tyres. But oh, hang on, Tyler, is he gone? Yeah, he's gone pit lane. I thought he was going defensive. Yeah. He's gone for the pit lane, so quite a late stop. But that's going to make Tyler have to push hard to catch back up.
Yeah, Fluffy having a look at the back of Groover. So yeah, I said I was going to mention about Demon R and his pit stop. He pitted with 19 minutes to go, and I mentioned that he might be a little bit tough to make that. And to be fair, you have to get to a certain point and go, I'm not going to make it, I don't think. Right, I've got to pit now. And I think that's what he did. And Tyler, I think, has just come to that conclusion as well. So as we view back at the pack, 2 by 3 by 1 1. Oh, Bunsel sideways, Dave the Arp sideways. He's just been hit again by Jason. I think Lewis was up the inside there. I couldn't tell who may have been the cause of that, but Dave the Arp won't be happy about that one.
I know it was Jason's car that hit Dave the Art there, but it looked like Jason got nudged into him, but it was off camera who it was that nudged Jason into him.
I mean, Dave was already sent sideways by another car, and sometimes you come around a corner, if there's a car sideways, there's not a lot you can do about it. Lewis having a look at the inside of Bunsel, but that's going to become the outside. Is Lewis going to run wide? I would hope not, because he should have learnt his lesson from being too much over there on the earlier part of the race, but
that's about as wide as you dare go without losing control.
Jason's got a decent run here, and he went to have a look around the outside of Twilight, but when you do that over the crest of the hill, all of a sudden you realise that crest is also a corner.
Yeah, but Jason's got a lovely run on Lewis there, and he's made the overtake stick, so Lewis finds himself again behind Jason.
Bunsel's a little out of shape there. That's going to close these guys up through the bus stop. I think Groover just tagged the barrier, so Bunsel has actually gained on him. Go on, what did you see?
Somebody in the background, don't know who it was, but they walloped the wall. It might have been Gary, I'm not sure, but it was a black and white car and it hit that wall hard.
It might have been Gary then, because the other black and white car is sitting in 4th place at the moment. Okay, Bunsel on the back of Groover, Twilight next to Bunsel, Lewis slipstreaming Twilight, Jason slipstreaming Bunsel, who's slipstreaming Fluffy. No, Groover.
Wow, I mean, this is just unbelievable racing at the moment. It's very tight, but they're all behaving themselves.
You've cursed
what we can see.
You've cursed
I know,
now.
I had to. I wanted to, so we can see something that's a bit controversial.
Well, here comes Dave the Arp.
Controversial.
Oh, Jason sneaking through past Lewis. Lewis having a look up the inside. May have been a little late. Oh, he managed to get it slowed down just in time. So Groover is still ahead of Bunsel.
Yeah. Lewis was late on the brakes, but Dave the Arp's got to run on him up here, but he's got nowhere to go. He's got Jason in front of him.
Dave going side by side with Lewis. Lewis is going to be out on the dirty stuff. He's going to have to be careful into this next left-hander, because you could run wide on the exit. No, he's managed to slow it down in time, but that's going to compromise his speed, as here comes Dave the Arp going 3 wide with Bunsel and Jason. Not a lot of places that Jason can go. He manages to slide across the track, and now we're compressing up. Okay, we've had it a few times. This surely on one occasion it's not going to go well.
Surely at some point I can see 2 cars trying to get through there and both hitting the wall, but it looks like they've managed to do it single file again. They seem to just slot into line quite nicely.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, and it's not bad at all, that, to be fair. Now, somebody we've not mentioned for a while is Steve F1. I don't think he's made a second, a third pit stop.
Yeah, I don't think he has either. So Tyler, who's in 4th, I think maybe closing in.
Oh, late pit stop from Lewis. Lewis just gone into the pit lane. That is quite a late one with only about, less than 5 minutes to go.
Yeah. this could get bad. It could also be brilliant. I've said it a few times. So Groover now leading the pack. Jason alongside Dave the Arp, side by side. They go through turns 1 and 2, still side by side, and behind them is Bunsell and Gary as Dave the Arp manages to get ahead. Twilight right there as well, and so is Rich Blues. This is a brilliant part of the track, and you can overtake up the inside as Gary is trying to do on Jason, and Dave the Arp is trying to do on Groover. Dave has managed to get through, but I don't think Gary has.
No, I don't think he's quite managed to make it. Is he going to make it 2 wide round the next left? It looks like it might even be 3 wide round the next left.
Groover's wide. That's going to be tricky because he's going to run wide here, and Bunsell has been squeezed off. This is going to get badly. Groover deep into the barrier, into the gravel. Time for a new set of tyres and pants.
Yeah, I mean that was. Oh, we've got Tyler right up the back of Steve F1, but that was like Groover had run wide on one corner, but by the time they got to 2 corners later, it was Groover that got re-nudged off the other way. So Tyler then, fresh tyres. Steve F1, not so fresh tyres. I think he's been on them for about probably 14 or 15 minutes now. Surely be planning on going to the end of the race, and but can he keep Tyler behind him for another 3 minutes?
Well, I mean, there's not long to go. There is not long to go at all. So SGP leading the way. Demon are second place. Steve F1 and Tyler battling for 3rd and 4th. But we've got a battle for 5th and 6th between Fluffy Planet and SRI. So Fluffy, who was lonely in the last race, he ain't going to be lonely for the last couple of laps of this race.
No, let's just hope they don't get too friendly and get too close. It looks like at the moment they want to hold hands around the corner.
Yeah, that they do. I mean, it is fair driving by the pair of them, SRI making it through, but now Fluffy is in a brilliant position to be able to follow and pounce. Tyler all over the back of Steve F1, but Steve F1 has been he's been so good with his defensive driving over the last couple of championships and working on the positioning of his car to compromise a car behind him, but I fear Tyler's fresher tyres are just going to be way too powerful.
Yeah, for Tyler, you'd probably spend a lap following him, trying to figure out where you are at strongest, and then pounce at that point on the following lap. And he might just be trying to do that if this is where he feels it's strongest.
It is definitely where he felt he had the opportunity, but Steve F1 squeezed him a little bit towards the wall. But Steve F1 needs to make sure he doesn't run wide now. Yeah, he's got to be absolutely committed through here. So Tyler's going to have an opportunity into the final corner if he wants to go for it. But is Steve F1 going to go defensive? No, he doesn't. Leaves the door open and then kind of gradually makes his way over. But he's ran a little touch deep. But again, his positioning is so good that Tyler's had no benefit of speed on the exit of the corner.
Yeah, it looked like he went kind of late defensive to just try and avoid the switchback. But we've got Tyler up alongside now. This is going to be hard now for Steve F1 to defend. He'll have the inside for the left-hander, but Tyler can make the brakes a little bit later. But Steve going in a bit deep, still side by side. Steve's managing to keep Tyler at bay for now.
He doesn't want to give up that 3rd place, does he? But I think Tyler is in the best position now. He's going to be on the inside for the kink, and he's going to be on the inside for the hairpin. And yeah, there we go. Steve F1 realises not a lot he can do about that one. But if Steve F1 can get through these next 3 corners, he may have the opportunity to fight back. By the way, we are now on the final lap of the race, folks. This is it. When SGP gets to the finish line, oh, Jason is on the curb. We saw Demon R over there earlier, and into the barrier. Jason's gonna go. It's disaster at the end of the race for him. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
That's the worst time you want to. If you do it on the first lap, you've got plenty of time to recover. If you do it on the last lap, you're buggered.
Yeah, that you are. That putting it politely. Or Dave the Arp got a little bit twitchy then. Bunsell right behind him. So yeah, SGP leading the way, and I think he's heading towards the final corner. Yes, he is. So it's going to be SGP's first win in the VW Supersport, and he's going to take the victory here at the Dragon Trail Seaside. The maximum points to him, and congratulations to SGP for taking the win. Demon R, he's going to come home in 2nd place, and in 3rd place it's going to be Tyler, and we can see how much better his tyres have been than Steve F1's. The gap that he's opened up already. A great result for Tyler there, taking the 3rd place, and Steve F1 crosses the line in 4th. SRI, is he going to be on for... No, it won't be his best finish. I think he finished 4th once, but he is going to finish ahead of Fluffy Planet, so it's 4th and 5th. 5th and 6th for Fluffy, SRI and Fluffy. And then, yeah, good luck calling this one. We got Gary, Lewis, Dave, Bunsell, Rich, someone else, and someone else.
Yep, and that's how. Wow. For saying that's a 40-minute race, it feels like we've just been sat here commentating for about 10.
Yeah. Great non-stop action. I've got, you know what? I think that's the first time in DGT, having raced around that track, seeing cars go 2x2x2 towards that bus stop chicane multiple times and no one ending up in a big crash.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the odd car hit the wall, but that's normally because they made the mistake themselves, not because they're side by side.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, absolutely brilliant to see. I mean, it was the way that they go. It's beautiful to see 2x2 heading into the first part of the chicane, and by the time they're in the middle of the two chicanes, they're single file. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful to see, because that shows awareness of drivers knowing, okay, off the line here, I'm gonna have to slow down a little bit more, and the other guy knowing that they're gonna have to. And it is beautiful to see. It really is.
It's much better to see that than to see cars trying to be optimistic and then realising that you shouldn't have done it. That's being polite. But something I want to pick up on in that race, just at the end there, as Tyler crossed the line, he was saying, another great result for Tyler. Do you know what? I think we're going to start seeing that as being his standard position, or thereabouts. And he might even win one this season. And I think it's just that this car is suiting Tyler.
Yeah.
And I think as seasons go on, there'll be other drivers that the cars suit them. And we've seen it in the past how Steve F1 in the car last season, it suited him. He's doing all right this season. But, okay, you could say all the cars seem to suit Demon R. SGP struggled a little bit last season, didn't get a victory. Has got one so far this season. But Tyler, this car's suiting him, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the top 3 more often than not. Yeah.
Well, Demon R did tell me the other day that he'd been viewing Tyler around that track. And
spying on him.
He's been spying on him, yeah. And he had the opportunity to give Tyler a tip. But he didn't want to, because he knew if he gave him the tip, he might win.
Sometimes you have to hold a little bit back from your competitors.
But having said that, Demon R did mention it on the video that he did about that track. So, Tyler, have a look at Demon R's videos. You might pick up one thing that will give you that extra little bit in the race. Because, to be like say, Tyler has been getting much better, and at this race in practice, very, very quick. Even the first race, it was quick.
Yeah. I know in the past we've mentioned about always Tyler's tyres going off before all the drivers around him. Sometimes it can just be one tiny little thing. You can just change a little bit, and you might lose a tenth of lap time.
Yeah.
But it could make your tyres last so much longer, and by the time you've been on them for 10 minutes, you could be a second quicker.
The thing is, would you like me to mention what it was that Demon R said he could have told him?
Go on then, because he might be listening.
It would have helped his tyre wear, but actually it results in a faster lap time. And that is the fast left, right, left, downhill, up and over the hill.
Before you say anything else, anyone else that's not Tyler, just press mute for 10 seconds. Carry on.
Yeah. He was slowing down a touch too late for the first left-hander, which meant he went into that corner quick, but came out of the top of the hill slower and wider. It's also why he ended up going off at the top of the hill a lot in practice. If he'd have actually slowed down 5-10 metres sooner, it'd have saved it a little bit of tyre wear, but he also would have actually got through the left, right, left section of corners faster. So even though you go in slower, you come out of it faster. But it's one of those, if you push through those corners to go faster, you go slower. But if you go in a touch slower, you don't have to push and you come out faster.
But even if he doesn't change anything between now and the end of the season, he's still in a good position.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, how he got from his starting grid position alongside SGP to be up where he was after 3 or 4 laps, great driving to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't do that without driving well.
No, definitely not. Either that or he was ramming everybody off, but I don't think he was doing that. I mean, Demon R and Steve F1 had to go for a completely different strategy to try and get in past people they couldn't get past. So, it shows how well he was doing. I mean, SGP taking a victory though, got to say he's got to be there as the first 3 championships in the DGT League. He was there fighting for the championship. He knew he wouldn't have the opportunity last championship because he was going to be missing a race or two. But you got to say he's got an opportunity with this one.
He has, and this championship being the 5th championship we've done, is he's going to want to be the bride, not the bridesmaid this time.
I thought you'd have at least said the groom.
Yeah, the groom.
But if he wants to dress up in all white and look all pretty, he's more than welcome to. I've got to say, SRI had a brilliant race.
Just skip over Steve F1, it's fine.
Oh, well, sorry, Steve. Sorry, Steve. No, to be fair, I could talk about Steve F1, but then I'd have to mention about him driving into the bus stop wall all on his own.
Yeah. Let's skip over Steve F1.
Skip over Steve.
Yeah, SRI, great race.
Yeah. Fluffy Planet has been up there the last championship, and this one as one of the most improved. So for SRI to come along and beat him, brilliant stuff for SRI. Yeah.
Now, his first stint, brilliant to keep where he was up near the front.
Battling with
Gary. You could say, was it because he was on pole? Now, I'm not going to take anything away from him, because obviously he's still got to drive the car after the lights go out. But it just goes to show that with the reverse order grid, if you haven't scored great points in previous races, you could end up with a good race at some point. And SRI, I won't say he made the most of it, but he made a lot out of it today.
Yeah.
It would have been difficult for him to get any more than he did, but he did well.
Definitely. Fluffy Planet, I've got to say, another solid race, definitely. I can't remember a lot of what happened in his race. I know he was he had parts of the race where he was all on his own and parts of the race where he was in a violent battle. But I don't think he can be unhappy about finishing in 6th place.
No, it's just over the last couple of races you've just been able to see that he's just found a little bit of pace in this car where some drivers haven't. That has allowed him to break away a little bit from the pack. He's just managed to get just ahead of the pack, and we saw a lot of Dave the Hart being like the car that was heading the pack. But then you've got so many cars that are on a similar pace that's what creates the pack. But with Fluffy Planet, he's just managed to find that one thing or that something that's just giving him that bit of space from the pack, which is giving him good results.
Yeah, definitely. I can't say I can remember what the finishing order was after that.
After Fluffy, we had Gary. Not bad result for Gary, finishing in 7th place. Great start to the race.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. He took the fight to SRI at the start, and Gary, over the last couple of seasons, has been up there as one of the most. In that first stint, he showed his big improvements, and also, not only that, his driving ability now in the pack is considerably better than it was when he first joined DGT League. It's like a completely different person.
Yeah, I'm just looking down the order of what finished, and I can tell you, Dave the Hart was behind Gary, then it was Lewis finishing in 9th place.
I want to touch on Dave the Hart a while.
Yeah.
Dave the Hart, to be fair, had a fairly solid race. That crash on the second lap was absolutely enormous, and it would have been so easy for him to lose his head and completely explode at that one. So for him to come through a race where he is literally, as you said, heading the pack or fighting through the pack may have frustrated him, but at the same time, he had a very good race,
He did, and bagging some decent points, and it means that he'll be starting at the back of the pack and got to work his way through it for the next race.
Yeah. Did you say that Rich Blues was next, 8th or 9th?
No, Lewis 9th. Now, something I can tell you about Lewis's race, very eventful, but he pitted. He was the last one to pit. He pitted with about 6 minutes to go, and I was at the time on commentary. I said, that seems a bit late for a pit stop, because sometimes you can struggle to get back up to the position you were in with such a short time left. He came out of the pits in 14th, but we saw Jason go off on the last lap. So we overtook Jason while Jason was in the gravel. But then going into the very last corner, Lewis went from 13th to 9th.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so as the camera was looking down the pit straight, he comes out in 13th place, and he manages, because it was about 4 wide at one point, he managed just to sneak ahead of everyone apart from Dave the Harp that was in that pack.
Well,
so good last lap for him.
I hope he got the footage of that one. So who was after Lewis?
After Lewis, we've got Bunsell. Interesting race from Bunsell. We saw him contact wall early on, managed to fight his way back. Then we got Rich Blues in 11th. A few incidents where braking on grass, making his car spin off. If you're on the grass, don't hit the brakes, as Dave Harp will tell you. Don't slow you down.
No.
After Rich Blues, we've got Twilight. Probably feel a little bit disappointed. Feel he's got the pace to be faster than 12th, but that's where he's finished, unfortunately. Jason in 13th. We know why. He had the off on the last lap. But don't know what happened to Groover. Groover finished last in 14th place.
I think he ended up in the I know he ended up in the barrier in the gravel with a lap or two to go, didn't he? So I don't know whether he had another off on the last lap. But yeah, I mean, overall though, I've got to say there was an absolutely brilliant race to watch. And it is a shame in a way that we're not been able to show all of the footage. I mean, because literally you could kind of have 2 cameras on the go, one following like the leading 4 when they get up to the front, and then another just on the pack, because it's absolutely bonkers in there. But once again, I want to say absolutely brilliant driving, because I mean it's I know I'm harping on about it again, but it's so easy to go through the bus stop chicane on your own and end up in the wall hard, as Steve F1 showed. That when you're in that pack and you've got multiple cars around you and you're side by side, and if you get it wrong, it goes wrong badly. For the drivers to get through there multiple times in that seat is absolutely brilliant to see. Brilliant to see.
I'd agree.
Yeah, it probably means that the next race they're absolutely going to annihilate each other.
Yeah, quite possibly. And where is the next race at?
I believe the next race is at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, which should be an absolutely brilliant track for this car.
It should be, but I can tell you, after doing some early testing in it, the Schumacher S, which is the up the hill after the hairpin, they're looking a little bit tricky. It's not flat out. That's all I'll say. Really? Because in most cars it's flat out. It's not flat out. I wouldn't even call it a little lift. It's a lift. And depending on when people lift to go into that Schumacher S up the hill, it's going to depend on, I mean, I can see some people are probably going to lift more than others, but some people might not lift. They might brake late, which is probably the best way to do it. Early, you're better off lifting early and powering through it. Yeah. I can see it being a bit of an area of cars getting in very close together. Yeah, because I could imagine that some cars might go into it too quick and then realise, oh no, I need to slow it down. And if a car behind them has lifted earlier and powering through, you're going to end up with the front of a car getting a very close view of the rear of a car. But also, one lap you can go through there as you would do normally and think, cool, yeah, great. Next lap, if you're following a car, you're probably going quicker than what you realise because you've got a bit of slipstream. So you might need to lift a little bit more to be able to make it through the corner. Yeah, and if you get a bit of dirt, So, well, in that case then, it's going to be an interesting one to see. And I know that half of the grid have not been able to get any practice in yet because they've all been down Donington Park getting a sunburn, which I found out I had when I got home and looked in the mirror and I went, holy crap. I know, my missus says to me, you've caught the sun. I said, have I? She says, yeah, your forehead's a bit dry. Yeah. Like, bloody hell, I looked in the mirror and it's like, yeah, didn't even realise. Do you want to know the funny thing though? Go on then. I said to myself, I knew I should have put my sun cream on. And then I went for a shower when I got home and I was like, oh, where's my deodorant? Oh, it's in my toiletry bag. Opened my toiletry bag and went, oh, it's a good job I didn't want my sun cream then because I'd left it here. I'd left it at home. But anyway, I've got to say, it was a brilliant weekend, and I know a few of the guys have posted pictures and videos on their own Facebook pages, but I just want to mention, I am
I don't know if I can be friends with Gary and with Rich anymore. I just don't know if I can bring myself to do it.
Well, because they got in the Donington Facebook page.
Because they got on the Donington Park Facebook page and I didn't. I've only been going to Donington Park for God knows how many years, and they stroll up from down Brum and standing next to a Bunzel style car, lovely Camaro, just stood there chilling out, having a chat, and end up on the official Donington Park Facebook page.
Yeah, you probably were in the picture, but they looked and went, "Oh, great picture, but we're gonna have to edit that bit out."
Well, Rich looked and he said, "You and Steve and Twilight are in the background," and I'm thinking, where all I can see is a big blur, and I was like, "Okay, that might be me."
Quite possibly.
Yeah, although I'm sure Twilight, you can see him chatting up one of the blonde Pirelli women. Hopefully Twilight's missus isn't watching. It wasn't him. He wasn't chatting her up.
It was. I got the footage of that one.
No. To be fair though, it was a brilliant weekend down at Donington Park. Okay, I think it's time to have a look at the confirmed race results, see if there were any reports sent in, and then have a look at the championship standings. So Steve, thank you for joining me on commentary.
No problem.
Okay, let's crack on. Confirmation of the race result then. DGT League SGP taking the victory and the maximum points ahead of DM&R. Tyler finished in 3rd with Steve F1 in 4th and DGT League SRI in 5th. Fluffy Planet finished 6th with Formula Gary 7th, Dave the Harp 8th, Formula Lewis in 9th, Bunzel in 10th, Rich Blues in 11th, Twilight in 12th, Jason in 13th, and unfortunately for Groover, he finished in 14th. This could definitely spice up the championship standings, that is for certain. So we might as well go and take a look at those now, or shall we? No, before we do, I'm going to mention there were a few reports handed in, however, all of them deemed to be racing contacts. I won't go through all of those, they're available on the DGT League Facebook page. Okay, let's take a look at the current championship standings then after the first 2 races. DM&R leads the way on 37 points with SGP only 2 points behind him. The battle for the title is on. Steve F1 is in 3rd place, only a handful of points off the leading 2 guys. Tyler with another good result, he's in 4th place on 28 points, and then there's a 7-point gap down to Fluffy Planet in 5th. Dave the Harp not too far away in 6th place on 18 points, while Formula Gary and SRI are sharing that 7th place, both on 15 points. Rich Blues, I think, he's in the highest position he's ever been in the championship, currently in 9th place on 13 points, while Groover, Twilight and Bunzel would appear to want to hold hands for a little bit longer, all sharing 11 points. Lewis is in 13th place on 7 points, while Jason is on 3 points, sitting in 14th place. So there we go, that's the championship standings, and as already mentioned, it will be another reverse championship standings grid order for the next race, which means that Jason will start on pole position, and last time he started near the front, he ran away and won. Could he do the same at the Nürburgring? Make sure you come and find out. See you all again soon.